Hello, everyone. I am doing an experiment today for my Viral Wisdom course. It's number 7. I've been doing this course every single day, as you know, at 12 Eastern on Facebook. But today I'm doing an experiment and also doing it on Instagram live for the first time. I've never done an Instagram story in my life. This is my first time. So hi, everyone on Instagram, and hi, people on Facebook. So just say hello and tell me where you're from. And can you believe this is my first Instagram story, live, whatever? I've never done anything on Instagram. So sorry, and thank you for the patience while I just get both these screens going. So for the Instagram people, I do this on Facebook Live, and I will be doing it via story, which will stay up for 24 hours. But if you want to catch this every single day, then come on Facebook or catch the story at noon Eastern every day, or sign up for my newsletter. So how are people doing? Let me know where you're from. I never really stop to ask you, but today I'm going to spend a few moments to just ask you where you're from and how you're doing. So just check in. Hi guys. So this is Viral Wisdom number 7. I'm doing this course every single day with you. Out of my heart, to just share things that have always brought me clarity in times of a crisis, in times of unprecedented moments, and to share with you how I have processed life in a small way. Maybe it'll give you some reprieve, some relief, and offer you some solace in these times of the unknown, in the times of uncertainty. Everything is new, everything is forming, and many of us are feeling the anxiety of it. So this is just my way to help you create some salve in these moments and create some peace. So hope you can catch me live every single day and share it with your friends, and maybe this will just change the course of your anxiety just a little bit. I'm not here to take away from your anxiety. I'm just here to help you better understand it, because we all need help. So I'm just here to offer you this help in whatever way I can. Many of you know I've written books on conscious parenting. And so what I want to focus on today is how this moment in time is such a brilliant, not only life lesson, but brilliant parenting lesson. So today it's specific for parents. So stay if you're a parent, because I'm going to help you understand your role as a parent even more deeply because of what we're going through. So stay with me, especially if you're a parent. It'll take a little time, because hard concepts, life concepts, take time, right? Nothing happens in a jiffy, and we're getting so used to instant gratification, and we're getting so used to sound bites. Everyone wants a video that's 1 minute long, but that is not the way life progresses. Life progresses slowly, and this crisis is here to show us that things take time. And it's hard for us to sit still, isn't it? It's hard for us to not be instantly gratified, to not have instant answers. So this is a huge life lesson, a huge parenting lesson, that now, instead of rolling through our feed moment after moment and just being acquisitive and just getting information, now we're forced to not go for the quick bite, to not be instantly gratified. No, life, reality, the universe, whatever you want to call it, God, whoever, it doesn't matter. Now we cannot go and instantly gratify. We have to detach. We have to go slow. And this process of going slow, this process of quietening down, this process of not being takers, distracted, acquisitive, aggregating, accumulating, this process is causing us a lot of struggle. It's causing us a lot of pain, because our addictions are not being served. Our addictive behavior is being cut off. We have been sent to rehab. We've been sent on a retreat, and we are going kicking and screaming. Reality has intervened, so to speak. In addiction, they say, create an intervention. This has gone on too long. Create an intervention. So in a way, I see this as an intervention to our deeply addictive humanity. We have been deeply addictive, and now we have been told, go to rehab. But we are not happy about it. The bounty hunters have come and they're like, go. And we are kicking, screaming, tantruming, having meltdowns because we are being asked to detoxify from our old addictive patterns. And this is terribly painful for us. So I just want you to understand that even listening to this and having to endure a teaching is now against the tide. Everyone in social media wants quick bites, quick lessons, instant lessons. Well, I don't teach that way. So if you want to learn something, you're going to have to endure 20 or 30 minutes of paying attention, because we need to go back to the way learning really occurs, the way life should really be lived, which is in the slow lane, in the quiet lane, non-addicted, non-accumulative, non-acquisitive. And this is a painful lesson. But this reversal is what we needed, because we were going down the wrong way. And we see it with our children, and we complain about our children, especially our teenagers, that they need instant gratification. They don't need instant gratification. We are the generation that gave them the addiction. We were the enablers that enabled our children to become addicts, and now we're complaining about them. So before we complain about them, as I teach in conscious parenting, don't complain about your teenager. Don't complain about your toddler. Look at yourself. We were the generation, this generation, our age, in our late 30s to 60, who gave our children the addiction, who taught them to be instantly gratified. And now we are being given a valuable parenting opportunity and a valuable human opportunity to go on a timeout and to slow down. So why do I say this is, I've been saying this since day one, a most profound life lesson and a most profound parenting lesson? It is because what I teach in conscious parenting is for parents to understand this lesson. You can be in charge, but boy, you are not in control. And this is the fundamental thesis of my parenting philosophy in conscious parenting. You can be in charge, but you are not in control. And this is what this moment in time is teaching us more than anything else. We can be in charge of a few things, but boy, this is showing us more than ever in a stark, brutal, but yet benevolent way that we are not in control. And this is the most painful lesson of life, that guess what? You are not in control of life. You are in charge of a few things, but you're not in control. And what do traditional parents want more than anything over their children? To be in control. We want to control how they look, how they think, who they marry, how they are sexual or not, how they are skinny or not, how they take care of their bodies, how they achieve, how they succeed, who they marry, how they marry, when they marry, how many children they should have, when they should have children. You and I know as parents, this is what we want for our children. We want control. And when that control leaves us, we lose our marbles, we lose our sanity, we lose our equilibrium, because we are told from the old parenting paradigm that control is a parent's destiny. Control is a parent's right. And therefore, there are a bazillion discipline books which are really how to control your children. So my first book was called The Conscious Parent. It was for the first year only read by maybe 2 people, my editor and somebody else on my staff. And it was read by no one. Why? Because the conscious parent made the parent look in the mirror to ask themselves, did you have children to raise children to be their own destiny makers? Or did you have children to control your own anxiety, to control your own desire to be valid, to control them so that you could feel significant? Why did you, parent, have a child? And of course, only 2 people read the book for the next 1 year. Okay, and then 5, and then 11, and then, it was very slow. Because who, as a parent, wants to be told that they had the child to be in control? Parents have been told that they had children because they're so lovely. Parents are lovely. We are lovely people. We have children not for our control, not for our ego. We have children because we're lovely. We're so selfless. And then you wonder, why do parents not adopt more children if they're so selfless? Why do parents want to have their own children if they're so selfless? Maybe because the parent wants to have their own genes, their own name, their own mirror. Then you begin to wonder. And then as parents began to realize through my work that maybe they did have children for their own ego, this was a huge epiphany, a huge shock. And then my second book is called Out of Control, Why Discipline Doesn't Work and What Will. Of course, nobody bought that book. I'm just being facetious. Because I was, again, taking away a fundamental right in what parents thought they were born to have, which is control. I was now taking away discipline. This is the parents' holy grail, to discipline their children. If the child lost their keys, we should discipline them. They are not allowed to have keys again. If the child forgot their homework, they are not allowed to watch television. Oh my goodness, this is what we parents live for. Some control over someone else. And we do it in the name of discipline. We call it discipline, a big word which sounds so fancy. But let me tell you, it is only a disguise for mass oppression and control. So parents don't like to hear that. So they were being challenged by my work because we want to damn control somebody else. Okay? Then I wrote my third book called The Awakened Family. And in that I talked about how parents need to heal their own inner wounds. And it is only when parents heal their own crap that they stop using their children as a disguise, as a distraction, as an addiction, as a dependency. No one liked that either. So now you didn't read my books. You didn't like the lessons. Okay, no problem. Can we now understand that what this virus is showing us is exactly what my message is? Not to give me credit, but I'm like, can we now hear? Can we now heed? Can we now wake up? Because what is this virus showing us, right? What is this moment in history showing us? That we do have no control. Holy moly, we have no control, do we? We have to let life live its course. We have to flow. We have to surrender. We are not in control. But it's also showing us that we have some charge. What do we have some charge over? We have charge over who we meet, how we meet, right? We have charge over how we control ourselves, our own feelings, our own emotions, our own anxieties. We do have charge only over ourselves, only over ourselves. We don't even have charge over how our partners are responding to the situation. I have so many women, especially, reaching out to me with some complaints about their insane partners. Some husbands too, but mostly women reaching out to me saying, I can't control my partner. And I say, yeah, you can't control your partner. You never could. You thought by marrying him and putting the ring around your finger, you were putting the ring around his neck. You can't. You can't control how your partner reacts to this crisis because his or her past is being evoked. His or her emotional wounds from childhood are being evoked. You're not the mother. You can't reparent your partner. Your partner is a vestige of their own upbringing. So you thought you could control. You thought that your partner would save you. Now you're seeing your partner is unsavable. And it's a shock to you. But wow, isn't it amazing that we get to see the illusion of marriage? Because marriage in some way was a great illusion that you could control your partner. And you're like, I can't control my partner. And parenthood was a great illusion that you could control your children. Can't control your children. All we can do, which is what my books talk about ad nauseum, the only thing we can do is be in charge of our own healing, be in charge of our own equanimity, be in charge of our own sanity, be in charge of our own anxieties. This is it. Heal your own holes. Holes. When you heal your own holes, you actually become whole. Whole. And don't learn it from my books or other wisdom teachers. Learn it from what life is showing you itself. Life is showing you, end your addiction for control. End your addiction for distraction, for outer accoutrements of life, for outer things pleasing you. End it. There is no instant gratification. There is no gratification right now. Now we can only go within, because the without is out. There's no more without. We can't go outside. We can't even go outside. So this is like the perfect lesson that all wisdom teachers teach, which is stop looking without, go within. So is this not the perfect time to learn this finally? Because this is what all of life, all over the globe, is teaching us. It is now time to go within. It is now time to understand you were never in control. You can only be in charge of something very small, but something profound, which is you. So let go of control. You cannot control your children, people. You can be in charge of the conditions that may or may not allow them to thrive. Give them warm water, warm food, a warm bed, lots of nurturance, lots of care, lots of presence. That you are in charge of yourself. You can create conditions in your own body and in your home. But you can't control whether they like your warm bed. The other day, my daughter said to me, Mom, you cannot control if I care about my school or not. I said, you're right. I can't control anything. You're right. She's like, I will care how much I will care. You can't tell me to care. I said, I can't even tell you to care a little bit. She's like, no, I have to decide if I care. I was like, yeah, you're right. When will I learn this? That I cannot control another human being. And this moment in time is giving us the most profound parenting lesson. We cannot control another human being, not even the one who wrecked our body, came from our womb, came from our blood, so to speak. No, they are a spirit of their own making with their own decision tree. And we have to allow their life to unfold their way. All we can control or be in charge of is our own presence, our own degree of attunement and light, and how we show up. So the question to ask today is, how can I be in charge of myself, and how can I let go of control of others and life? I don't control life. I don't control if I will live or if I will die. I cannot even control how my lungs react right now. And you want to look inside your body, if you could, to check your lungs. Hey lungs, are you guys good to go? Are you all going to support me? Guess what? You can't control. You have no idea if your lungs are going to be able to handle this. You can be in charge of your vitamin C, of your zinc, of your water, of running every day. Go ahead. But know that your limits are limited. Yes, that's why they're called limits. Limits are limited. Within that, though, you have limitless wisdom. Limitless wisdom to understand the limits of your control. So this is how we need to understand this present moment as a great teacher, of the most essential wisdom of life. The next thing we need to learn in terms of parenting and in terms of life that this virus is showing us is this. Lesson number 2. It's teaching us more profoundly than ever about what's essential and what's not. What I call in my book, it's taking us away from ego to essence. Essence is my most favorite word, probably. And people make fun of me because I use the word essence so much. What essence means is the core, is the deepest part of our authentic living, meaning everything not ego. In all my work, you will see me saying ego to essence, ego to essence. What that means is that all of us have been playing a role of the achiever, a role of the rich one, a role of the pretty one, role of wife, husband, parent. This limits our essence. Our essence is limitless. Our essence is part of the cosmos, is part of this energy. It can never be bridled. It can never be contained. It can never be prescribed. It can never be put in a bottle. It is boundless as the ocean, as the sky, as the energy in the atmosphere and cosmos, and the galaxies and beyond. Our ego limits us. I am a wife. Really? Is that what you want to be in life? A wife? I am a parent. I always tell parents, why don't you not be a parent today? Why don't you enter the role of grandparent? Even grandparents can parent better because parents are in the ego of their parent and of the parent. And when you're in the ego of being a parent, you immediately enter the ego of control because you believe as a parent, the other needs to respect me. As a parent, I need to be in control. As a parent, and then the role of parent blinds you, obscures you to the essence of the soulful connection between you and your child. So this virus is showing us what is essential, essential, entering the essence, leaving the ego. And you and I know we've let go of coloring our hair almost. We've let go looking all fancy. We've let go our high heels. We're in the essential part of life. We're like, can I just get up, brush my teeth, hug my kid, wear a pair of clean pajamas and call it a day? Can we just all survive today? And this is teaching us, wow, we have spent so much time in the non-essentials of life. We have spent so much time on the rubbish, on the garbage. And now we are reminded that life wasn't in the Prada shoes, in the Louboutin bags. I don't even know who makes who, what, Louboutin shoes, Prada bags, I don't even know. We're not about designer clothes and looking fancy and ironing the wrinkles. Because what good is all that? Who is seeing us now? Nobody. We're at home. We're surviving. We need to take care of our essential workers. We need to take care of our neighbors. We need to take care of our children's well-being. Now does it matter who they marry, when they marry, how they look, how skinny they are? No. All that matters is, can we get through this together? Can we get through this better? Can we get through this more aware, more awakened? We are whittling down now away from our addictive dependencies on collecting shoes and bags and labels and achievements and money. And now we are whittling down to, oh my goodness, my friends matter. My children's well-being matters. My sanity matters. This moment matters. All that matters is this moment. Now we are realizing what is essential. Not our ego, not all our fancy. None of that matters. And health crisis, does this to us better than anything in the world, right? When you get that cancer diagnosis, when you get that terminality of, oh my goodness, I'm mortal. My time here is limited. What am I wasting my time on? On what my mother-in-law thinks of me and what my cousin's neighbor's sister's wife thinks of me, wife's sister's husband thinks of me? Really? Is that what I care about? Do I care about what I'm going to wear at the ceremony for whatever function 2 years from now? Does that matter? Now we're being reminded, wow, none of that matters. However, I have to say share some disturbing news. If you read Business Insider, it had an article about a Hermes store opening up in China again, and it had a great whopping profit in their sales, and they sold like $2 million in sales for Hermes scarves. Now, not to put Hermes down, but really, if we don't learn the lesson now and we keep buying things that are really not that important, and we keep investing in the non-essentials of life, then we would have missed this lesson entirely. What is essential? Now we should understand what is essential. Connection. This is what's important. So at least as parents, let's not focus on whether your child is a fancy equestrian, or if your child knows how to speak the fourth language really well, or if your child, is going to go to an Ivy League school or not. Because none of that matters, does it? What matters now, we realize, is, can we adapt? Can we change? Can we be resilient? Can we feel worth without our external indicators of worth? Can we wake up every day with optimism, with grit, with power? That's what matters, doesn't it? So your child learning calculus and finishing the year off ahead of the curve doesn't really matter right now, does it? Because your child may never go to college right now, or college as we knew it right now. Now, all that you thought you were preparing your kid for their future, you were teaching them how to be resilient for their future. Now you understand, don't you, that what future were you preparing your kid for? What future were you preparing any one of us for? Guess what? That future that you thought your kid needed to get this kind of education for, that future may never be in fruition. That future may never come to be. So it's a whole other future. Now maybe we need to teach our kids to be quiet, to be internal, to be in solitude. Instead of learning all that calculus and trigonometry, maybe we should have been teaching them meditation and silence and peace and inner harmony, because that's what's going to get us through this crisis. That wherewithal. You know that the next crisis after this health crisis is the economic crisis. And you know to withstand the economic crisis is going to take great power of our mind, that we can be powerful without our attachment to our livelihoods, to our bank accounts, to our paychecks. That is going to take tremendous power. The next crisis is the economic crisis, followed closely by the mental health crisis. It's all a mental game at the end of the day. All of this is all about emotional resilience. And if we can't see this more clearly now than ever, then we are missing life entirely. It doesn't matter if your partner is so good looking anymore. Is it? Does it? It doesn't matter. It just matters, can your partner cope? It doesn't matter if your kid was getting A grades now. Does it? It just matters if your kid can cope. What matters now is how we show up. It's always been the only thing that matters. And I have gone blue trying to tell people what really matters. What matters is our inner connection. I've said this from day one. Inner connection, the essence of who you are. Now you realize how much time you wasted on the bullshit of life. You wasted all these years caring about your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, your cousin's sister's opinion, your friend's opinion. Guess what? Who's at home with you now? No one. Just you and you and you and a few housemates you call your family. Hopefully you like them. But really what matters now is you and who you are and your face in the mirror and what you see there. Now it doesn't matter how big your boobs are, how bubbly your butt is. Doesn't matter. No one's looking at your butt anymore. No one. So what matters now is your relationship with yourself, no? This is what matters. And what matters is whether you like your kid. Deeply, truly like your kid without any extra. Now your kid can't get you gold medals. Your kid can't get you the certificate. Your kid can't get you the trophy. Now all the kids, Ivy League or community college, are getting pass-fail. And you're like, damn it, your kid passed? Your kid's not as smart as my kid. But the dumb kid's parent is like, my kid passed, just like your kid. So all I'm saying, there's no dumb kid, but you know what I mean. We're like, but my kid is so smart. My kid is an A+ student. How is my kid getting pass-fail grades? Doesn't matter, because this virus is a fabulous equalizer. Now it's showing us, we don't care about your grades. We don't care about your butt. We don't care about how fancy your Botox perfect face is. Doesn't matter. All of you sit at home and now deal with yourself without any external gratification. You can't even take, how many selfies can you take at home? No showing off at the Grand Canyon, no showing off at the bar, no showing off in the slinky dress because you're going to look like a total fool if you're in your slinky dress and made up face. Now you're going to be embarrassed. You're like, I just have to look like regular, normal. That's why no one's taking any selfies. No pictures anymore. No external gratification. No external addictions. Now you realize what really matters. What matters, my loves? Only thing that matters is how you can stand you, because you're spending a lot of time in your own company and you're like, I don't like me anymore. I don't like me much. I don't know if I like my housemates much. So now you get to see all your past choices are hitting you in the face. Now you get to see, you know what? I should have learned how to control my addiction to food, because now I'm eating the fridge out and there's nothing on the grocery store shelves, and now I'm hungry all the time. I should have paid attention to whether I liked my own inner worth, whether I liked my own sense of who I am. I should have paid attention to that. I should have learned to meditate, because now I'm going out of my damn mind, right? So we're being taught these things. We're taught these things by this unprecedented historical moment in time. But the question is not whether we're being taught, because we've always been taught. Our children were always here to teach us. Wisdom teachers were always there knocking on your door. The question is not whether we're being taught. The question is whether we can finally learn the lessons of life itself. Can we finally learn our mortality? Can we finally learn that we are dust to dust? Can we finally learn we are a speck on a speck on a speck on a speck on a speck of a grain of sand? Can we finally learn our big egos don't matter? The virus doesn't care how pretty you are. The virus doesn't care how good you are. The virus doesn't give a damn that you gave philanthropic $10,000 last year or two. The virus doesn't care, because the virus is here to show us that at the end of the day, we are simply dust to dust to dust. We at the end of the day, all this fancy schmancy, is all our ego. All that matters is that in this moment in time, can we survive? In this moment in time, can we get through this with emotional resilience? So all that you were preparing your children for, drop it. Drop it. This virus is showing us that there is no future. That all that you clung to in the past isn't here anymore. But most importantly, all your thinking, doing, producing, performing, acting, aggregating, accumulating was for the future. There is no future. There never was a future. There never was. And this is the most profound lesson, because we didn't raise our children right, people. We raised our children for the future. Everything we did almost, except for a few strolls and for a few breaths, most of what we did, and I speak symbolically, yes, so don't take me literally. Symbolically, everything we did for our children was for the future. This virus is teaching us the most profound lesson in life and parenting. There is no future. Whatever you were planning for was in your head, was an illusion. So even now, as a parent and a human, you know that you're sitting here thinking, what will happen tomorrow? You know you're thinking it. I caught myself thinking it. When she goes to college in 2021, then I live for that, yes? For the freedom of travel. And I'll go here and I'll go there and I'll go teach in China. And I'm like, you little fool, have you not learned to have not one thought wasted on what is a complete and utter rendition of your delusion, complete and utter illusion that there is no future? Even now, parents are like, what will happen to my kid tomorrow? When will schools open tomorrow? Should they do the SAT? Should the What jobs will my child have tomorrow? Any such thoughts are a conduit for anxiety. Any such thoughts are actually a reflection of delusion, psychopathy, hallucination, grandeur, stupidity, ignorance, foolishness. Yes? No more thoughts of the future. Let this virus show you all that planning that you were doing, all that cogitating, all that justification. I'm only crazy, my child. I'm only yelling at you right now because I care about your future. Now the children are like, Just the other day, I told my daughter to register for the SAT in June. She told me, Mom, don't waste your money. There is going to be no SAT. Mom said, but what if? What if? Right? Because we parents live in the what if. So I told my 17-year-old daughter, don't worry, it's my money. What if you don't get room? Please register. Then I yelled at her, did you register? Did you register? And then I screamed at her, you haven't registered? She said, Mom, there will be no SAT. I said, no, just in case, please, you don't understand. The world is a competitive world and everybody will have registered and then you'll miss out. She said, Mom, there is not going to be any SAT. Don't tell me what to do, child. Go and register because I live in lack and I live in scarcity and I live in competition. And damn it, if other parents are going to register and I'm also a fool and I'm a sheep, So if other parents are going to register, damn it, I will register you for the SAT. She's like, okay, I'm telling you. So I registered her, and I felt so good because I was a sheep and I was like all the other parents. And I said, now I feel so comfortable because I'm in the crowd of the sheep. I love it. Now I feel good. I'm just like all the other sheep. And then yesterday, the SATs are cancelled. So I was like, oh, should I tell her or should I not? So I'm like, by the way, very casually, I thought I could just slide it in. By the way, the SATs have been cancelled. And I was just waiting. And she's like, what did I tell you, Mom? Why don't you understand? We are in this moment, right? She's trying to tell me, we are here. Do you not see? There will be no SATs. Don't worry, Mom, no SATs. My year, no SATs. She's like, now, do not bother me. Till I know when the SAT is, I will then work backwards and I will start studying 2 to 3 months before. Mom, don't stress me out. Till I know for sure, I am not studying for the SAT. Now, can you and I agree that you're going to release this? And I said, okay, what to do? What to do? So what she taught me and what I learned is what I always should have learned, is that stop living in the as if and live in the as is. Even a week ago, I'm like living in the as if, in my bubble of delusion that I want to be part of the competition and my child should do the SAT. How deluded are we? No, really, even me, so deluded, right? I'm normal, I'm like you, a total sheep. Yeah, I talk a good talk, I'm like, I'm a maverick, but I'm not a maverick when it comes to my kid. And everybody is doing something, I'm like, I have to be like every other parent. In my own life, I can be a total badass. But when it comes to my kid, I'm like, no. I'm really scared. I have to have my kid fit in. My kid needs to belong. My kid needs to be part of the sheep. Okay? So, lesson learned. I was living in the as if. I was living in the future, not in the present. This virus, and what I teach in my books, but I don't follow really, is to live in the present. Yes? To live in the damn present. And who knows how to live in the present better than our darn children? They live in the present so beautifully, so beautifully. When my daughter was young and I would tell her to shower, I'm really knocking her now, she would smell herself. She's like, Mom, I'm not smelling. I'm like, I know, it doesn't matter because you may smell tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow you may smell. She's like, but right now I'm not smelling. I'm like, okay, I'm going to literally ring you. Go for a shower. But that's just to show how our children live in the present. She's like, but now I'm okay. Now I'm fine. Who cares about tomorrow? And children are masters of living in the present moment. But we don't learn from them because it's too scary to live in the present moment. Because in the present, we have to be present. We can't be in our mind thinking and cogitating. We have to be here and alive. So to wrap up, how brilliant a parenting teacher this virus is. It is a parenting lesson boot camp. Okay, parenting boot camp. And the 3 main lessons that I talked about today, but every day I will talk about other lessons, are that you are never in control. At best, you're in charge of yourself. Number 2, what is essential? Only connection to yourself, connection to others. That's it. And the most profound lesson that our children are here to teach us, the most profound parenting lesson, which now this virus is highlighting, is there is no past. There is no future. The only moment we have is now. So if this is the only moment, you need to ask, am I here now? And with our mortality knocking on our door, especially if you live in New York like I do, where every human is a possible health hazard, you begin to realize how fragile we are, how mortal we are, and therefore, even more so, are we living this moment fully? Are we living in this present time with vitality, with expansiveness? Yes, you don't have a gym. Yes, you can't go to the bar. Yes, you can't meet your friends. Okay, it's not this moment to do that. This is a moment to go in, to go on a retreat, to go on a soul adventure, to finally do what you have never given yourself time to do, to go within. This is a rehab, this is a retreat, this is a timeout, call it what you want, but use it well. You know, when our children come to us as infants, I beg early parents to get the lesson. Get the lesson that only infancy can teach the parent, which is to go within, to slow down, to let go, to stop talking, to stop being in your mind. Just be present. This is the same lesson. Again, here, globally being offered to us on a plate. You are being given the most vital portal to the present moment. Do not miss this lesson waiting for tomorrow, hoping for what should be. Enter now, this moment now. We have it. You have this moment. This moment, you are alive. Use it, enter it, meet it, greet it, celebrate it. So thank you all for joining me on Instagram, and thank you for joining me on Facebook. And I will be back here on Facebook and Instagram story every day if I can, if tomorrow will come at 12 noon Eastern, knowing that I'm not in control of that.